Hello and welcome to HBM's Cryptid-Corner for Wednesday, October 24th, 2018. We are merely a week away from Halloween, my darlings. And you know what that means. Scary stories. No, I'm not going to continue that voice, I promise. But yeah, next Wednesday is Halloween. I love Halloween. Now, I did promise you guys I was going to have a complete episode with some of the scariest cryptid stories. So we're going to start out with one from the BFRO. Thanksgiving trauma. Turkey hunter reports terrifying encounter with Sasquatch. By Greg Newkirk on November 28th, 2013. If your family Thanksgiving is anything like mine, one of the highlights or hellish nightmares of the day is when the sportsmen gather around to regale each other, aka one-up one another, with stories about the big one that got away. Well, none of their stories will compare to the following tale reported to the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization. After all, no one can compete with the guy who almost bagged Bigfoot. It says Happy Thanksgiving, but I'm going to say Happy Halloween. Okay, this happened in 2007, in the spring and April. So it didn't happen around Thanksgiving. But I suppose what happened was the tale was recounted around Thanksgiving of that year. But it happened between, I guess, it says between the 15th and the 21st of April of 2007 in the state of Iowa in Lee County. Location details: I was hunting private property near Shimek State Forest, Croton Unit. Nearest town is Argyle. Nearest road is Iowa Highway 27. Observed. I do not know what I saw, but I do know it was something that should not have been there, and it will remain with me the rest of my life. I was turkey hunting one morning approximately 4 years ago. I never told my story due to I feel people will not believe me. It rained all night long that night, and thus allowed me to walk into the forest in complete silence, no leaves crackling, etc. I sat up on a hillside overlooking a small creek and valley. It was nearly pitch black due to the overcast sky, but soon the rain stopped and the forest became brighter. Soon after, I realized I was sitting within 15 feet of several birds that were roosted in a tree next to me. I didn't know they were there until they started shaking the rain off. My gun was already propped on my knee and I pointed at my decoy. As things became brighter, I could make out most of the valley floor, and I continued to watch the birds roosted next to me. Soon after, one of the birds gobbled. I began hearing something off in the distance almost immediately after. I only remember this because it was a very strange paced sound. The rhythm of it seemed odd. Nothing I could think of would make a sound like this. I could see down the valley to my right for a fairly long distance, however. To my left, a separate hillside came out, and I could not see up the valley in that direction. The noise continued with almost near perfect rhythm for several minutes, with only occasional breaks. It continued to get louder. I soon realized the sound I was hearing was coming from up the valley in the direction I could not see. The turkeys in their roost next to me stopped gobbling and remained silent. A few moments later, the forest was becoming fairly bright and I could see most everything around me. All of the birds roosted in the tree flew down and hit the forest floor running. They didn't even seem to notice the decoy. I remained perfectly still, watching the birds run through the forest down to my right through the valley. They acted as though something spooked them. At first I thought maybe it was me that spooked them, but then it occurred to me that the sound had stopped about the same time the birds took off. As soon as the birds were out of sight, the noise began again. I remained still, leaning against a large ash tree. Maybe 1 minute after I lost sight of the birds, the sound was becoming much louder and apparent of what it might be. My first instinct was that another hunter was walking through the forest. However, to this day I will never forget what I saw in the coming moments. The sound with an almost steady rhythm reminding me of what it would sound like if I were walking on dry leaves in the forest. There was not a drop of wind on this morning, and I believe the valley might have been echoing the sound. A few moments later, I caught sight of it, maybe 50 yards to my left, coming into view on the bottom edge of the valley. At first, I thought it was a hunter in a ghillie suit, but upon closer examination, I realized this was no human wearing a camo outfit. I continued to walk upright on 2 feet down the valley towards my right. When the creature got to the bottom of the hill outcropping it stopped dead in its tracks and remained perfectly still momentarily. I think it was at this point I truly realized what I was seeing. When it stopped and stood still, it became nearly invisible in the forest. It seemed an eternity passed while I sat against this tree uncontrollably shaking. I was scared out of my wits, even with a 10 GA shotgun propped on my knee, pointed in the direction of the creature. What happened next scared me so bad I would have bet my life on it that I was going to have a heart attack. The creature turned its head and looked directly at me. I stared directly into the eyes of this creature for an unknown amount of time. It made no sound, it did not move, it only stared at me. I was in full camouflage, including a face mask, so maybe it was not sure what I was. Shaking so bad at this point, the only thing I could think of was to defend myself. I clicked the safety off of my shotgun. When I did, this creature went into almost a crouching position, only it seemed more like it was in a position that would allow it to move quickly. The stare down went on for what seemed forever. I readied my shotgun, not afraid to move anymore, since it was apparent I had been seen. When I positioned my left hand under the forearm of my shotgun, the creature sprang up, nearly causing me to pull the trigger. It continued its walk through the forest with its head turned, watching me. I continued pointing my gun at it. I never pulled the trigger. I was so afraid I didn't know what to do. Eventually I lost sight of it. I jumped up as soon as it was gone, and I ran back to my truck without stopping to rest once. To this day, I will never forget what I saw or the feeling of absolute terror that overcame me. I do not want to be famous, nor do I want my story posted all over the internet. I just thought I should tell somebody my story. So what do you think? Did this man have an encounter with the legendary Bigfoot, or was he spooked by the sight of something else entirely? And it says, share your thoughts with us on Facebook, on Twitter, at WeirdHQ, or in the comments below. Very, very interesting story. And it does have a bit of a ring of truth to it. I think it happened. Next is a creature that's been frightening the residents of Elkhorn, Wisconsin for quite a long time. That's the Beast of Bray Road in Wisconsin. By the way, I highly recommend the Bray Road Beast from Small Town Monsters. The Beast of Bray Road, Wisconsin. A hairy humanoid with canine features, the Beast of Bray Road has been sighted in Wisconsin dating back to 1936 on a rural road outside of Elkhorn, Wisconsin. More recent sightings in the 1980s and 1990s place the creature in Racine, Walworth, and Jefferson counties. Those who have seen the beast describe him as eating or hunting/scavenging. Also known as man-wolf, bear-wolf, and indigenous dog-man, it is said to be around 6 feet tall with gray and brown fur. Its face resembles that of a wolf with shiny yellow eyes and pointed ears. Its body, though furry, looks like a muscular man. The creature is said to run and walk on all 4 of its legs or just its hind legs, and has been spied sitting on his haunches and kneeling like a man. Some people believe it is a werewolf, others that it is a Bigfoot, and some believe it is as a yet unidentified species. Though it has never attacked anyone, some witnesses claim that it has acted aggressively, running at them and jumping on their vehicles. Some researchers consider the Beast of Bray Road to be identical to a kind of Wisconsin Bigfoot that locals call the Bluff Monster or the Eddie. Others, including many Native Americans, believe it to be the Wendigo, which has often been spied in Minnesota. Others believe that it has simply been misidentified and is a wolf, a bear, or a large feral dog. This werewolf-like creature has been portrayed regularly in the media since the first sightings and even had a low-budget movie based on its legend. A number of sightings in the late 1980s and early 1990s prompted a local newspaper, the Walworth County Week, to assign reporter Linda Godfrey to cover the story. Initially, she was skeptical, but soon became convinced of its authenticity and later wrote a book titled The Beast of Bray Road, Tailing Wisconsin's Werewolf by Kathleen Weiser Alexander. So a werewolf, a dog man, some kind of weird creature in Wisconsin? Well, could be. It could be real, who knows? What it is, I mean, who really knows? I don't think anybody really knows what this thing is. All we know is that there's some kind of creature terrifying residents in Walworth County, Wisconsin, and its surrounding counties as well. A place only about 46 miles from Milwaukee. Alright, now this is going to be a bit different. This is going to be audio and video as well. A fellow named Mike Woolley had a very terrifying Sasquatch encounter in Louisiana in 1981. So I'm going to let y'all listen to this.
My name is Mike Woolley. I'm from Keenshaw, Louisiana. I had an encounter back in December of 1981 with a Bigfoot while deer hunting. It was a beautiful December day, perfect weather for a hunt. Temperature was about 30 degrees. I got to my deer stand that evening, about 3 o'clock, got on it, and I was sitting there, and I was facing to the north. And my deer stand was located about 1.5 miles down an old logging road and off the main highway, secondary highway. And what I would do, I would park my truck halfway down the logging road, and I would walk in the rest of the way because I didn't want to drive my truck down and spook the deer. Well, it must have been, I hadn't been there no more than 30 minutes, and this little young doe deer come running from the east out of some briars and brush that there's no way a human could walk through that. But she come up to my deer stand, and what was so amusing, come up to my deer stand and laid down, up and actually touching the deer stand. She was wringing wet with sweat. She had been running, something had been running her. And the first thing hit my mind, it was a big buck. And I said, I'm going to kill me a big buck. So when I raised my head back up, I was turning my head, and out of my peripheral vision, I seen something hop to a tree. And it was tall, about 7, 8 foot tall, and it was black, real hairy, like a gorilla. And I knew it wasn't a gorilla because there was no circus in town, and I knew it hadn't escaped, and I knew we didn't have no gorillas running loose. So the first thing hit my mind, it was somebody dressed up in a suit trying to scare me off my good deer hunting spot. Well, immediately I go to talking to this thing, telling it, take the head off, get out of here, don't come back, this ain't no joke, I don't find it funny, just leave. Well, this thing was just eyeballing me, looking at me and really giving me some sinister looks, and I knew right then, I said, something ain't right. Well, this went on for a few minutes, and he must have been about 20 yards from me, 15, 20 yards. So I take my rifle, I got a high-powered rifle with a high-powered scope on the rifle, and I looked through the scope at the creature, and I knew that after looking at it, I was in a situation because it was cold, the moisture was coming out of its mouth, its nostrils. It looked really, really human. The face was human. The eyelashes, I could see the eyelashes, the eyes. The teeth were big teeth, flat teeth like our teeth. So anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm looking at it, and it's really PO'd at me. And it lets out a roar like a lion. Well, about 100 yards to the northeast, there's this really, really loud whistle comes back. back. You know, a signal to the growl. Well, this creature looks over that way and whistles back in the same tone of whistle, and then turns and looks at me. Well, I'm kind of like, hey, you know, what's going on here, you know? Something's up. I'm in trouble. Big trouble. Well, all of a sudden I hear movement coming from that direction, and I knew whatever he signaled was coming to meet up with him. And I knew that I was probably going to be the one going to be on the losing end of the stick, you know. Well, I thought it was a feral human because I'd heard about them, you know, done some reading about them. But as far as a Bigfoot, I thought that was something that existed out in California. I just thought that was something somebody made up to make money off of. Well, I jumped down on my stand, and I'm running to the west to get to my truck. And I look over my left shoulder, and this creature is running through the woods, and it is just moving brush. It's running through the brush, and it's bulldozing the brush down. And I knew, man, this thing is going to get me. It is mad. It is P.O. It's going to get me. Well, I'm coming up on my truck, and I'm thinking, well, I got to stop to unlock my truck. And when I get ready to unlock the truck, he's going to make his move. He's going to have me. Well, something crossed my mind to fire a warning shot. Well, when I got to the tailgate of the truck, I threw my rifle to the left, pulled the trigger, and the shot fired, and the bullet hit about 7 foot up in a tree and blew bark in front of his face. The bark actually hit him in the face because he was about 3 foot from the tree. If the creature would have been another 2 seconds, the bullet would have hit him dead in the head. Well, I got in the truck, I'm driving off, I look in my rearview mirror, and lo and behold, his buddy that he signaled had been tailing me coming up the logging road. I didn't have but one chasing me, I had 2. Well, they kind of stood there and looked at each other as I was driving off. But my recommendation to anybody, if you ever have an encounter in the woods, is don't fool with them, don't make eye contact, don't point, and surely don't point a gun. Do not engage this creature, because if you do, you will lose.
Now, that is a very, very amazing, that's a spooky encounter. That's an amazing encounter, too. One of my favorites. You know, Mike's been on Monsters, Mysteries America. He's been on several podcasts, and his story has not changed. And he still feels that terror that he felt that day. I mean, you could see it in his eyes. The absolute... something spooked him. A Sasquatch spooked him really badly. Actually, 2 of them spooked him really badly. You can see it. He is spooked. It's been over almost 40 years. He is still spooked by that. It's probably one of my favorite encounters right there. One of my favorite recent encounters is Mike Woolley's. Amazing stuff. Next, we turn to the Lone Star State. Apparently, there have been some spooky, scary stories of scary cryptids in Texas. This one appears to be no exception. Shadow creature lurks in Abilene, Texas. The story is in relation to the slender-limbed shadow creature. I've been seeing this creature for about 7 months now. I've seen it about 10 times over this time period. When I see it, it's only there for a split second. I'll make eye contact with the creature, and when I blink it will vanish. It's always been darkish when I see it, but usually I'm the only one who does see it. I honestly began to think I was going crazy until one night 2 pals of mine were riding in a golf cart on the outside of a church camp where we work. Bill was driving, I was in the middle, and James was on the passenger side. As we cruised along, we drove by an old pathway, and I requested that we turn and went down it. My friend Bill turned around and drove down the pathway. It was maybe 8:15, so it was kind of dark around Abilene, Texas. Only one light on the cart, so I had my phone in my hand to compensate for the missing light. The shape of the road was kind of like a P. As we went along the side of the P, the long side of the P to our left is where I saw it. Never seen it this close before. It was the size of a large man. It was as black as night. I said, "What the heck is that?" I had the light from my phone directly on it. Bill immediately turns the cart around and drives off as fast as he can. James is in the cart as well on the far side where we saw the creature. He noticed that I was pale as a piece of paper. He asked what we saw, and Bill explained exactly the same as what I saw. James never saw it. I became curious, so I looked it up. What I typed exactly was man with dog's body / demon, and the slender limbed shadow creature showed up. It was almost exactly like what we seen. Although no one believes us, we know what we saw and we'll never forget it. Samuel R. So, wow, what is it's almost like it's very reminiscent of Slender Man. We've all heard of Slender Man, except very strange, very different creature. Well, that's not the only strange cryptid story from the Lone Star State. From the Houston area, we have something called, well, it's just called a furry humanoid creature. Woman witnesses furry humanoid creature walking on all fours. Houston area. This is not the first report of humanoids in East Texas. Check out Jacqueline's story. I was on my way back from visiting my father in Houston, and I had stayed pretty late. It usually takes me about an hour and 45 minutes to drive home because I live to the north of Houston off of I-69 in Cold Spring, Texas. I was about 25 minutes from home. I made the turn onto Road 222 that takes you past Lake Livingston Dam. And there's a photo of the dam in question. It was around 10 p.m. and this long stretch of road is covered on all sides by woods with the occasional ranch house and or farm. There are no lights but one passing through there. I was past that light in total darkness with only my headlights shining. I saw something up ahead and slowed down. There was a furry creature on all fours crossing the road. I'll never forget the way it felt. The hair on my arms are standing up, and I get goosebumps just remembering. It looked like the boy from the Jungle Book crossing the road with the hind part of the body higher than the front. It stopped just on the other side of my truck, passing a few feet in front. It was dark gray and black, and it didn't seem to have a face, or maybe it just had too much hair. It was too big to be a dog or any animal. I still don't know what it was. All I know is that I drove off, speeding away, looking back into my rearview mirror, hoping it wasn't following me home. I locked up and stayed close to my rifle the whole night, and to this day, driving through that stretch of road, I hope I never see that creature again. Jacqueline. What's going on in East Texas? Have any of you ever seen anything like this before? Leave us a comment below. Ooh. Ooh, goodness. I mean, these are some very strange stories. I'm going to read one more, I think. Now, this is interesting. In the Davy Crockett National Forest, Grovetown, Texas, some kind of a weird tube-legged bipedal thing as a result of a trail cam. This photo was sent to us on April 5th, 2018 by Hunter M. This is his exact account. Found on a trail cam in East Texas, Davy Crockett National Forest, Grovetown, Texas. Was wondering if you saw something like this, or if you could help identify what this is. No chance of picture editing. Very real source. I was expecting, when I saw a humanoid, I thought, is that a Bigfoot? But no, what is that? It looks, now if you look at it, it looks like a woman. It looks like a woman with light colored pants, or a light colored bottom part. And this appears to be long hair, right here. Could this just be a woman walking through there? That is strange looking. If you've experienced something like this before, please comment below. Oh, well, this is intriguing. I don't know what it is, but it's intriguing. That might be kind of scary. It's not facing the camera, obviously. It may not even be aware the camera's there. But it appears to be, it looks like a woman's head. Or a woman's profile. Because look, this looks like long hair right here. So what do you guys think? I mean, give me your honest answer on what you think this could be. I'm stumped on this one. And unless it's a really good Photoshop job, it's not a Bigfoot. It would be much bulkier if that's what it was, but that's not what it is. It's not a Sasquatch. So, what is it? I guess you guys can tell me in the comments section below. Finally, probably the most famous cryptid, and certainly the most famous possible Sasquatch creature in the state of Texas, is the Lake Worth monster. There was even a book written by Sally Ann Clark which had equal parts fiction and equal parts fact as far as interesting stories. Lake Worth monster, first sighted outside Fort Worth in 1969. Monster has made conflicting descriptions. Supposedly is the size of a man but bears goat-like features such as horns and white fur. According to reports, it's aggressive and has the ability to leap from trees onto the hoods of passing cars. It's also strong enough to hurl tires further than a human with its strong arms. This picture was taken in 1969 in Fort Worth, Texas by a man named Alan Plaster. That's very interesting. Now, I can tell you that this Bigfoot sighting that I had is very similar to this, except in reverse. What I saw was very similar to this. Same color and everything, except in reverse. If you've experienced something like this before, comment below. Yeah, there are those who think this is a goat man. It was supposedly a goat man. May have been a Bigfoot. Supposedly he had horns. I mean, we've heard of sheep squatch, but goat squatch? I don't know, that seems to kind of stretch to the lines of credulity and credibility. I just don't see where this could be, you know, a goat creature. Most likely, whoever thought it was a goat creature, it turned out that they panicked. Well, they saw a Sasquatch, they saw a Bigfoot, they had to attribute stranger attributes to it and give it stranger attributes. But it's probably, if it was real, it most likely is just a white Sasquatch or an albino Sasquatch. That is very interesting, though, this photograph. I actually have a copy of this photograph in my possession, in my collection. It was sent to me by Sally Ann Clark years ago. Or well, it was actually part of an auction for her book, and I thought perhaps she had sent me the picture, but I don't know. It was part of the auction that I won on eBay for her book. So I don't know if it was from her, if it was from somebody else. Very unusual, though. As far as cryptid news, let's see, they had the Texas Bigfoot Conference this past weekend. I understand it went very well. And this upcoming weekend is Creature Weekend at Salt Fork State Park in Ohio. They're going to have Bob Gimlin, Stanton Friedman, Amy Boo, Bruce Champagne, and they're even going to have demonstrations, including one from the local Falconry Association, which is interesting. Full details can be found at creatureweekend.com. And of course, upcoming is the Sasquatch Summit at Ocean Shores, Washington, at the Quinault casino and resort, and that looks like it's always a fun time. And I'm going to give further information on that starting next week. But anyway, yeah, guys, that's going to do it for this week. And thanks for tuning in. And hey, happy Halloween next week, and have a safe one. You know, be careful. You know, don't get involved too much in those with those ghouls, ghosts, and goblins. And just a quick reminder, there will not be an HBM's Cryptid-Corner next Wednesday because it's Halloween, but there'll be one the following day, November 1st. Because hey, I'm committed to you guys. I'm committed to you, the people. So there will be a new show on November 1st, and I'll give further information about the Sasquatch Summit, which is coming up in a few weeks. It'll be the week before Thanksgiving, the weekend before Thanksgiving, which will be November 16th through the 18th. But some pretty exciting stuff going on, some pretty cool stuff, and you know, I enjoyed doing these two special editions the last couple of weeks. You know, I thought, you know, there's not much going on right now, so hey, here you go. Here's some special stuff. But anyway, I gotta continue to recommend the Small Town Monsters movies, especially their newest ones, The Brave Road Beast, On the Trail of Champ, and The Flatwoods Monster, which are really great. And of course, they're classic ones. You know, Minerva Monster, Beast of Whitehall, Boggy Creek Monster, Invasion on Chestnut Ridge, Mothman of Point Pleasant. Those are also really great. Enjoyed those quite a bit. All of those are available at smalltownmonsters.com. Now they got all kinds of merchandise surrounding those movies as well. T-shirts, postcards, posters. Yeah, you just shop to your heart's content when you're at that website, boy, I tell you. So yeah, good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. So anyway, again, thanks for tuning in, and happy Halloween next week. And hey, y'all be good or be good at it. This has been a special edition of HBM's Crypto Corner.